Hi everyone! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. In this one, I wanted to talk to you guys about something funny and something kind of sad and something kind of interesting to me at least. I get a lot of comments, or I have been recently getting a lot of comments, a lot more comments from people who are telling me that I'm not a real INFJ. And I think it's kind of funny. And it's kind of sad as well that these people need to kind of point that out. I've never actually gone up to someone and said, "Oh, no, you're saying that you're an ENFP and you're not really an..." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good use of my time. If someone believes that they're whatever they are, then I'm like, go for it. Do the best you can. Like, go forth into the light kind of thing. But I kind of find it funny because a lot of them, what they're saying is that they are a real INFJ and they are the ones who are truly embodying the qualities of an INFJ. Whereas when they look at me, they see an extrovert. They see a person who talks too much. Actually, I get that a lot. Well, of course I talk a lot. These are videos. What am I supposed to do? Sit there silently while you guys look at my face? And so, there's a lot of things that they point out, and they're like, these are the reasons why you're not an INFJ. And I'm grateful because a lot of you guys have kind of piped up in my favor or in my defense and, said to these people, no, of course she's an INFJ. Look at all her videos and look at, all of the other stuff that she's done and the way she behaves. It's obviously an INFJ's behavior. And so I really wanted to kind of clarify something with regards to INFJs, and I don't think I've done a video on this in the past. And it's something to do with the assertive versus turbulent thing. Now, I'm not an expert on this at all, so you're gonna have to go and look it up on your own to figure out if you're an assertive INFJ or a turbulent INFJ. But I noticed that a lot of the people who do kind of come up to me and say that I'm not a real INFJ are the opposite kind, right? I think I'm an assertive one. I believe. Now, of course, I'm not an expert. And so I think I'm an INFJ-A versus an INFJ-T. And a lot of the people who come up to me and say, you're an extrovert, blah, blah, they're an INFJ-T. They're not the kind of extroverted INFJs like I am. So a lot of people do absolutely mistake me for an extrovert, of course, because come on, I'm doing a YouTube channel where it's not very common for introverts to kind of do this, especially INFJs. And I talk a lot about myself, which again is not something that's very common and actually is one of those things that we shy away from. But I have a very good reason for it, and I've told you guys many times why. Because I felt so alone, and I know a lot of you guys don't feel alone because I do these videos, and because you're like, well, wow, okay, there are other people like me out there. And that in itself is my reason for doing it. I want to do it so that people around us, even though they might think that we're crazy, we can come to this channel or any INFJ channel, I'm not saying just mine, and then listen to the videos and be like, oh, right, okay, cool, yeah, people might think I'm crazy, and maybe I am a little bit, but I know that other people are like that. There are other people like me outside of myself in the world, and so it makes me feel less alone, less crazy, less quirky, less lonely, right? And so that's the main reason for me, and it's a very important reason for me, and I do these videos because of that reason, right? Also, I love to talk, which you guys can tell. Anyways, I love to talk about the things I care about. Mostly, actually, if you guys know me or, if you hang out with me, you will know that I said most of my day I'm sitting by myself, reading my books, doing my thing quietly, right? I don't like noise. I don't listen to music while I'm working. I want it extremely quiet, like pin drop silence would be perfect. But when I get excited by something, then I do, then I get excited and I speak a lot. And so one of the things I do want you guys to remember, and I've said this many times before, I feel like I have to kind of repeat it to myself over and over again, that there are many different kinds of INFJs as well out there. It's not just one or two. The INFJ T and A obviously are two clear delineations. But in general, even within the subtypes, even within all of the MBTI types, every person is going to exhibit different characteristics, a different combination of characteristics within that subtype. And so even if you are an INFJ, you might be a completely different INFJ from a different INFJ, right? And I know a lot of INFJs. A lot of you guys message me. I have a lot of INFJ friends. luckily enough, I met a lot of you guys on this channel, and we've become friends. And so every single INFJ is different. It's actually really fascinating because even though, yes, of course, we're similar in many ways, and scarily so sometimes, there are a lot of ways in which we're very different. And I know a lot of my INFJ friends, some of them are higher on the spectrum of perfectionism. Some of them are higher on the spectrum of obsessiveness. Some of them are higher on the spectrum of extroversion or introversion, right? And so, of course, there's a spectrum here. It's not that we're just going to be a mold created by God or the creator or whatever you want to call him or it, and he just puts us on he or she puts us on, or it puts us on Earth and be like, all right, you guys are all the same. It doesn't make any sense, of course, and that's of course the reason why a lot of INFJs will watch my videos and be like, no, of course you're not an INFJ. You're not like me. I'm an INFJ. I'm a true INFJ. And I really want us to kind of start moving away from this delineation where we're like, you're a true INFJ, I'm not, or I'm a true INFJ. What is a true INFJ really? There is nothing like that, right? I mean, there's so many different kinds of INFJs, so many different kinds of ENFPs, so many different kinds of ENTPs. Every ENTP I've met, even though I love all of them, which a lot of you guys are surprised by, even though I love all of them and I get along with them, they're all very different from each other. They're not all the same. They have a similar vibe sometimes, or a similar kind of energy, but they're still very different people from each other. That's why I love them. Otherwise, if it was the same person over and over again, how boring would that be? And so again, I want to remind you by doing this video again and again, please do not use these MBTI types to separate yourself from the world or from others. It is not a way to make yourself out to be better than others or worse than others or different than others. It's just a type. It's just a typing, and it's only one part of who you probably are. I mean, that's why a lot of people will go to Enneagrams as well to describe themselves, and then they'll do astrological charts as well to describe themselves, and then they'll do, I don't know, zodiac signs in order to describe themselves. I mean, like, there's 100,000 different things you can do in order to describe yourself. There's 100 kind of different characteristics that you can focus on in order to describe yourself. And so really we have to be careful, as I said, not to really make it to be one of those Nazi kind of things where like this is it, these are the Aryans, and these are the INFJs, and that's it. Everyone else just get out of here, and you're not an INFJ. How does that make any sense? If you relate to an INFJ's characteristic, if you relate to my videos, if you jive with them, if you think that they describe you, then that's it. There's nothing else to worry about. You don't need to be like, am I a true INFJ? Am I a real INFJ? You don't need to start, as we do as INFJs, you don't need to start overthinking it or analyzing it and just kind of going crazy about it, right? I mean, yes, you're an INFJ, cool. That's one part of you. That's one description of your characteristics. Then you can go to Enneagram and there'll be another one. And then you go, so there's so many different ways to describe yourself. And you're not a potato. You're not like a one-dimensional character that just sits there, right? I mean, you have so many different characteristics and you behave differently in different settings. If you go here, you behave differently. If you go there, you behave differently. With different people, you behave differently. And so there are many different layers to you, and you can't just say that, this is me, these are the characteristics I have, and that's it, and then no one else or anyone else who doesn't have all of these characteristics in exactly the same order is not an INFJ. And it feels like such a Gestapo thing to do, like really like very, very discriminatory. And I don't like that, because this is not an INFJ way to behave. Again, I'm saying it this way, but really we are inclusive rather than exclusive. And we also always want to be like, yes, come into the fold. I'll protect you. I'll take care of you. Yes, you're an INFJ. If you want to be an INFJ, cool, do it. If you don't want to be one, cool, don't do it, kind of thing, right? I mean, I rather we kind of start thinking in inclusive ways rather than exclusive ways. And I really don't like when people message me, not for me, because I don't really care and I'm used to it now, but for all of those other people they're probably talking to, saying, going on forums or Reddit or like Facebook groups and saying, you're not an INFJ, you don't know what you're talking about. It feels like such a terrible thing to do. Also, feels like such a terrible way of spending your time. So if you want to message me and say that, that's okay. But be careful when you say it to other people, because they might take you seriously, right? And that would be the worst thing in the world, because I feel like we're already so confused about our description and about our characteristics. And if someone comes and makes us even more confused, I think it would be such a terrible thing to be an INFJ in that situation. So I know a lot of you guys are not doing it because a lot of times when people do start, when they start being mean or derogatory in this manner, I just delete their comments. I really don't even bother with it. So I know you guys aren't doing it, but if you do notice someone else doing it, do send them the difference between INFJ-T and INFJ-A to kind of make them realize that there are many different kinds of INFJs out there. And support your fellow INFJs. If they want to be an INFJ, fine. This is not a club where you have to pay $1,000 or you have to pay a certain fee to get in. Anyone can be part of it. And if they want to be an INFJ, let them be one. Who cares? Whatever you are, it's fine. Like it doesn't need to be very strict like that. I hope this makes sense. I just wanted to kind of talk about this because I received a message like that this morning, and I'm sitting there thinking, what is going on over here? I mean, why are we being like this? And so hopefully this made sense to you guys. If you guys have any questions about this, obviously do message me, except if you have questions about INFJ-T versus A. I have no idea. I haven't done any research on it. I do know that there's a difference between the two, so go do your own research. Or if someone else knows, that you can ask them about it. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being on my channel, and I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.